This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, one neighborhood in Port Charlotte is mourning the loss of 3 of their own following a tragic car crash. It happened at what many say is a dangerous intersection near the village of Holiday Lake. ABC7's Rick Adams has more this evening from Port Charlotte.
Well, this is the area where this horrible tragedy happened, taking the lives of 3 people. The community here says something has to be done with this intersection to make it much safer.
We are all extremely sorrowed by the devastation of this accident.
For Jim Fry and others in the village of Holiday Lake community in Port Charlotte, the tragic car accident at this intersection at the entrance of their development has shocked and saddened their entire 551 home community. The crash killed 73-year-old Rebecca Halafsa, 80-year-old Alvin Blanco, and 82-year-old Raymond LaPointe.
This has just been horrendous as far as we're concerned. The members were so entwined into their village daily routines with the committees that they served on.
All 3 were very active in the village of Holiday Lake community. FHP says the victims were crossing over Gasparillo Road on Marathon Boulevard towards their development on Tuesday when they T-boned a car driving by the intersection. The driver of the other car was not hurt in the crash. People who live here say this intersection has blind spots, making it very challenging.
They just widened it last April. They completed it, went to 4 lanes, and this is our only exit and entrance to the community, along with the fire department. And it is a very dangerous intersection.
This fatal wreck has residents pushing Charlotte County now to have traffic lights installed at the intersection and to take other action to make it safer.
The traffic here has increased so much with all the new construction.
In a statement that we had received from Charlotte County, in part, they say, county staff always monitors roadway data to determine if and when a signal would be appropriate at this or any intersection. We are currently reviewing the incident and the traffic data to prepare a report to county officials. And at this point, we don't know when any of the services will take place for the 3 victims. As soon as we receive any updated information, we'll certainly pass it along to you. Reporting from Port Charlotte, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick. A Venice retirement center is about to get a $100 million overhaul. Village of the Isle breaking ground on 3 new buildings this week. The center was built 30 years ago and has not had any major work done to it since. 2 new assisted living buildings are being added, as well as the new health center building. The existing buildings are all 2 people to a room, but after the new work is done, everyone will have their own room.
If somebody wants to sleep in until noon, if that's what they're used to all their lives, they can do that. If they want to get up and have eggs at 9 o'clock in the morning, they can have eggs at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That project is expected to be complete by the end of 2019. As the city prepares to install parking meters on St. Armand Circle, officials want your feedback on the different types of meters they're considering. 6 different demonstration parking meters will be available for residents to test and review until 11 a.m. on Saturday. The display will be at the 7 Virtues statues along John Ringling Boulevard across from St. Armand Circle Park. City parking officials want the community's opinions on what they like and dislike about the different meters.
Do they like the screen? Do they like the look, the lighting, the buttons, the overall design, the profile, etc.? So that when a selection is made, it makes a difference, and we know that the community helped make that decision. Studied that more thoroughly.
The city plans to begin charging for parking on St. Armand's after the parking garage is completed this December. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our first alert forecast. Bob, what can we expect tomorrow morning and this weekend?
Big changes are headed our way in terms of temperatures. We're going to get rid of all the fog problems we've had lately, but now it's the cold. A return to winter here across the Sunshine State. It looks like it'll be around a while as well. Right now, the cold front's still just to the west of us. That cold air not moving in quite yet, but it will be here and it'll be noticeable tomorrow morning as that front moves through. The winds will switch more to a northwesterly direction, and it certainly will feel like winter here in Florida. After all week long, we've had temperatures in the 70s, even some upper 70s at times. That is all coming to a change as a result of all this moisture moving out of here and that cold, dry air spilling in behind it. Now, there were a few showers around earlier today. Not much rainfall at all. We don't anticipate any rain for some time, too. There's no real threat of any significant rainfall headed our way. Temperature already down to 37 in Pensacola. They're expecting lows there below freezing. Right now, it's pretty mild out there. Not for long, though. 65 degrees in Sarasota. It's 62 in Jacksonville and 10 degrees warmer in Key West. Now, there's no real wind chill here right now, but tomorrow night, a different story. We'll have wind chills into the mid-30s Saturday night and Sunday morning. Get a look at this. It feels like 27 already in Pensacola. Just gives you a little indication of what's headed our way over the upcoming 24 hours. Now, the winds are still out of the west, so we haven't got that big northwesterly wind yet, and that would indicate that the front is not through quite yet, but you'll notice it throughout the weekend. There's another cold front behind this one. We'll talk about when that's coming through in just a few minutes. Back to you, Jacqueline.
All right, thank you, Bob. Puerto Rican Governor Ricardo Rossello is slamming the federal government's response to Hurricane Maria, saying that the United States residents of the island are being treated like second-class citizens. Critics have complained that the help to Puerto Rico following its worst natural disaster has not been equal to federal disaster aid given to Florida, Texas, and California in the wake of hurricanes and other natural disasters. During a Friday news conference in Orlando, Rossello warned that Puerto Rican voters would remember how they were treated come midterm elections. Governor Rick Scott was also in attendance. He announced a $1 million grant to help refugees find employment. Scott also says the state of Florida has done a good job getting Puerto Rican students in schools.
We worked to make sure that we got in-state tuition for people that are coming here, made sure that the children that were coming here could get into our schools. Our school systems around the state, our school districts have really done a good job getting people here.
In a rare move, Democratic Senator Bill Nelson praised Governor Rick Scott's efforts. With reported comments by President Donald Trump inflaming an already raw immigration debate, the deeply divided Florida House passed a proposal today to ban sanctuary cities in the Sunshine State. The 71-35 vote by the Republican-dominated House came after 2 days of debate, with GOP supporters pointing to a need to uphold the rule of law. Democratic critics say the bill is unconstitutional and could lead to racial profiling. The measure would require local governments and universities to comply with federal immigration laws and would impose stiff penalties on those that declare themselves sanctuaries from immigration enforcement. Representative Randy Fine says Florida should uphold the rule of law and draw a distinction between legal and illegal immigration.
Those of us on the right don't oppose immigration. Most of us are immigrants. We're all immigrants to some degree. But we simply want folks to do it in the proper way.
Even with passage by the House, it remains questionable whether the bill will get through the Senate, which has refused to go along with similar proposals in recent years. Take a look at this video. Last night, Pembroke Pines officers responded to a call about a large snake making its way across a roadway. Officer Joey Cabrera arrived first on scene and wrangled that snake, a 12.5-foot Burmese python, until backup units arrived to assist him. The snake was moved to a police substation until a licensed python removal contractor arrived and took the custody of that snake. Living in Florida, snakes are not an uncommon sight to many residents, but Burmese pythons, however, are an invasive species and very real threat to our ecosystem. A young Florida man just became millions of dollars richer. 20-year-old Shane Missler of Port Richey claimed last week's $451 million Mega Millions jackpot today. He says he hopes to use that money to pursue a variety of passions and do some good for humanity. Missler first told his brother of his winnings, but then waited until the next day to tell his father. He selected to receive the prize in a single lump sum payment of almost $282 million. The 7-Eleven where he purchased that quick pick ticket will receive a $100,000 bonus. Florida lottery officials say this jackpot generated $23 million for the state's schools. Stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast. Plus, President Trump facing questions about his mental competence for office, what the White House doctor has to say about his health, and how rescue teams are working to find those still missing after the deadly mudslides in Southern California.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC7 shows on your streaming device.
Well, Bob, it looks like we have to kind of maybe pull those sweaters back out. You thought you
Yes.
could pack them away for a little bit, but I guess not.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the little dogs, too, and
Oh,
pets
yeah.
tomorrow night. Take care of the schnauzer, you know, you're giving a walk. We are looking at some very cold temperatures, and not so much tonight, but tomorrow night we will see wind chill advisories again into the 30s by Sunday morning. Right now, I want to show you what it used to look like. This was what was happening this week. Boating weather was perfect, lots of clear blue skies. This one sent in from Amanda. Appreciate it, Amanda. That photo just sent in from earlier this week when skies were clear and boating was good, but boating's going to be tough going this weekend, especially tomorrow. Small craft should exercise caution as seas will be up there. We'll talk about the marine forecast in just a little bit, but as far as we are concerned, we are going to see the cold air continue to funnel in. Now, the front itself is still well back to the west of us right now, maybe 50, 60 miles or so, but winter returns to the Sunshine State. Wind chills tomorrow night into the mid-30s, and it looks like the weather will stay cool through all of next week as a result of a reinforcing cold front that is expected to come down on Wednesday of next week. So we'll have to say goodbye to the 70s for a while after we've had them in for a while. This high-pressure ridge is not going to move much. It's going to slide down to the southeast. We even had some snow earlier today into Mississippi as well as into Alabama, and now the snow is occurring into Tennessee and Kentucky. The front itself will push on through, as I said, during the early morning hours, and those winds will switch around to the northwest, which will begin our chilly weather. Now, as far as the radar is concerned, no rain around. The rain is all gone, and it looks like it'll stay out of here for at least the next 7 days. 65 degrees right now, not too cold, not too bad out there. Enjoy it while it lasts, and the dew point is dropping, though. It's down to 55 degrees. Winds are out of the west at 11 and will become more northerly in time. Today's high, 73, above average, despite the fog and the clouds and showers we had this afternoon. Our normal high at 71 degrees and the record high 86 set back in 1993. Only 1/100th of an inch of rainfall at the Sarasota-Braden Airport. Our monthly total now just over an inch. The temperatures already starting to drop. I mentioned this earlier, into 37 degrees in Pensacola. Quite a contrast. You look at the Keys and Miami now, 72 degrees, both those cities. And tomorrow's hourly forecast, well, we'll start off with some clouds around too. Temperatures will stay right around 60 degrees by noon. We should be close to 60. Lots of sunshine in the afternoon, although that sun will really not warm things up all that much. And as far as the futurecast goes, this model depicting some light showers, but that's unlikely. We're not going to see anything overnight. And then the clear skies on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and with the clear skies Saturday night and Sunday morning, that's when temperatures will really start to plummet as we get that northerly flow, which usually means that we will see the problem with some drainage. And when I say drainage, it means temperatures in the inland areas especially will be into the upper 30s to mid 30s, just regular temperatures, and wind chills down into the low 30s there. Well, the temperature forecast for tomorrow, again, not all that warm. Into the upper 50s by the afternoon. It will actually fall down into the upper 30s to low 40s to start things off on Sunday morning. Well, it's a snowstorm they're dealing with now across parts of Ohio, western portions of Pennsylvania, and New York. They could see up to a foot of snow before it's all said and done throughout this region. Still snowing near Cincinnati, Columbus getting some snowfall, to Pittsburgh, and all the way up into Erie. The snowfall totals I mentioned could be rather high, with up to maybe even a foot of snow into western portions of New York. Now here's the boating forecast. Tomorrow, small craft advisory in effect now, but then a small craft should exercise caution tomorrow as winds and seas will be up there. Tides upcoming on your screen. The next low tide will be at 5:27 in the morning. Well, here's the forecast as we see it for the next 7 days. It's going to be a cold one. Temperatures only in the low 60s Saturday and Sunday. We warm up a little bit on Monday into the mid to upper 60s, and still that secondary cold front comes through late Wednesday. And look at the low on Thursday morning, upper 30s. So it looks like another week of winter in store for us next week. Jacqueline?
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Bob. Tonight, President Trump is in South Florida after a firestorm over his reported use of a vulgar slur about immigrant countries. The comments allegedly made during an Oval Office meeting to discuss a deal to protect the Dreamers, young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest on the fallout from Washington.
President Trump spending the holiday weekend at a South Florida resort. He signed a MLK Day proclamation at the White House, but ignored questions about his reported use of a vulgar term during an Oval Office meeting with lawmakers. Multiple sources tell ABC News the president, responding to an immigration deal that would include protections for immigrants from African countries and Haiti, reportedly said, "Why are we having all these people from expletive countries come here?" Trump tweeted Friday morning his language was tough, but, quote, "This was not the language used," and never said anything derogatory about Haitians.
It is not true. He said these hate-filled things, and he said them repeatedly.
Senator Dick Durbin, the only Democrat in the room, says GOP Senator Lindsey Graham immediately challenged the president. Graham said in a statement, "I said my piece directly to the president. I've always believed that America is an idea, not defined by its people, but its ideals." But Republicans Tom Cotton and David Perdue said we do not recall the president saying these comments specifically. Sources also say Trump suggested the U.S. should bring in more immigrants from countries like Norway. Several lawmakers condemned the alleged comments as blatantly racist. House Speaker Paul Ryan responded from his home state of Wisconsin.
I read those comments later last night. So first thing that came to my mind was very unfortunate, unhelpful.
Trump also tweeted that a possible Senate deal on the Dreamers was, quote, "a big step backwards," but it appears that bipartisan group of congressional leaders will keep working on a deal. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump has received a top grade at his first physical as commander-in-chief. Today, White House doctor Ronnie Jackson said that Trump is in excellent health. He spoke of after the president had his annual physical at Walter Reed Military Medical Center in Maryland. Jackson also said he would release more details on Tuesday. President Trump faced questions about his mental fitness for office following the release of Michael Wolff's new book, Fire and Fury. But the White House said that Trump's physical would not include any psychiatric tests, which is in line with his predecessors. In response to speculation about his mental fitness, Trump called himself, quote, "a very stable genius." Well, search teams are out once again in Southern California, working desperately to find the 5 people still missing after this week's deadly mudslides. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is in hard-hit Montecito with the very latest.
Through unrecognizable wastelands of what used to be neighborhoods.
The house just right there that I know my kids used to play with those kids, and the house, there's no sign of the house. It's not even there.
The ongoing relentless search for survivors of Tuesday's mudslides here in Southern California.
We know that window's closing, but we really are doing our best to search and rescue. And you've heard those stories from around the world where people have been missing for 8 days, 9 days, and they were found alive.
With that optimism fading, crews clearing mud from homes and businesses, including here at the historic Montecito Inn built by Charlie Chaplin in 1928, moving forward with a grim awareness.
The fire department keeps coming in and checking on us, and we're supposed to call them if we find any bodies.
18 people are confirmed dead, the youngest just 3 years old.
It's hurting all of us. It's very heartbreaking.
And many who made it through the deluge of mud, debris, and massive boulders have spent days trapped in their homes with no power and no running water. With those issues, nearly the entire town is now under mandatory evacuation orders.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And those residents are told it could be 2 weeks before they're allowed back. And no surprise, it is expected to take months of the kind of work you're seeing behind me to clean all of this up. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Montecito, California.
Well, sports is next. Stay with us.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you. I'll be right back.
When I think of kids going to school hungry, hunger, homelessness, in this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out. Or don't. The choice is yours.
Now, sports.
The Tampa Bay Lightning will have to play the next 3 to 6 weeks without their top defenseman. Victor Hedman is out with a knee injury. He collided with a Calgary player during last night's loss to Calgary. The two hitting their knees against each other. The injury means Hedman will also miss the All-Star game later this month. Hedman was leading the Lightning in time on the ice, playing nearly 26 minutes a game on average. The Lightning are off enjoying a bye week. Tampa Bay will be back on home ice next Thursday against the Vegas Golden Knights. And a Bradenton tradition returns tomorrow. The Pittsburgh Pirates will be holding auditions for those interested in singing the national anthem before home spring training games. Auditions will be held from 10 to noon at Lecom Park on 9th Street West. The Pirates' home games begin on February 24th against the New York Yankees. Tickets for those games are on sale now. In Sarasota, the Baltimore Orioles are also gearing up for their spring training season at Ed Smith Stadium. Their first game will be against the Tampa Bay Rays on February 23rd. Individual tickets for that game go on sale tomorrow. And she's a little bit country and he's a little bit rap. Carrie Underwood and Ludacris are teaming up to record a song for the Super Bowl. NBC plans to air their video for The Champion before its coverage of the NFL championship game. The pair filmed the video last year and they say they wrote the song with sports in mind, but also to help people overcome anything in their lives. That's a look at your sports tonight. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
My California Closets designer is a rock star. She was able to design the most beautiful space for me. When I turn the lights on, it's breathtaking. La! It's just a little slice of organized heaven. The California Closet team was so professional, so reliable. It was seriously a dream come true. My name is Jill, and this is my California Closet story.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore 2 hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice, they gave me the chance to do just that. They helped me find the time to care for myself, all the while with the peace of mind of knowing my husband is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Well, you said keep those jackets handy.
Yes, keep them handy, and it looks like beach weather's going to be tough going through the weekend. Boating, too, some tough weather there, but it should be okay for the 102nd Manatee County Fair, which will be taking place. You can always count on a cold front when the Manatee County Fair comes to town. It's just, it's standard. Well, cool and breezy on Saturday, cold start on Sunday, and then it warms up a little bit on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, 67 degrees, 68 on Tuesday, and Wednesday not too bad, but then it gets cold again as another cold front moves in, and the next one could be even a little bit chillier, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Wow, so we're not going to see those 70s for quite some time.
Right, they're gone.
All right, well, that's disappointing, but thank you so much, Bob, for joining us. And thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good weekend.